The thing that jumped out to me in talking to the guys today, we got a chance to talk to Malik Monk, and we got a chance to talk to Davion Mitchell. Both players, and I feel like this is starting to be kind of a theme here in the first couple of days, talking about Mike Brown's energy and how like it's that passion is infectious.
Yeah, which is, again, really cool that they feel that way about this leader, right? This guy that is managing and coaching them right now this early on. I like that he's making these connections that seem to be very respectable. So it's nice when everyone, again, is on the same page saying these things.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it goes back to a couple of things that we've heard. I'm going to play something from Quinn Cook tonight, too, because I thought it was really interesting. It's like they've been in the gym, too, and I think they've been around him. And Mike Brown's made a point. Like, you got to, especially when you're taking over this team, a new team one. This is also his first head coaching gig in a long time. I'm sure there are a lot of things like he wants to do differently this time around.
Sure.
And he's learned a lot from his time at Golden State. Like crafting the relationships with these guys so they feel comfortable with you. The fact that we have heard not only his passion being mentioned, but also his communication being mentioned.
Yeah.
Like this is bigger than talking about basketball here. I mean, in any workplace, what do you want from your boss? You want to know where you stand.
I was going to say communication, respect.
Respect,
yeah.
Right? Like, hey, I'm going to respect you. Just respect me, too. Like, we're people here.
Like, we don't need to be best friends. It just, let's, win. It doesn't matter if you're in a workplace or on a court.
So, early on, it seems like they really dig him. And you've heard it from multiple guys. And again, I'm not acting as if guys, if they don't like him, they're not going to come up and be like, yeah, I don't really vibe with him. But I feel like the guys who have spoken about him have made it a point to mention kind of that energy at the start of camp, and that's cool.
Well, and I feel like that energy is also motivating them to be extra intense or physical, because that's also something that every single player has talked about. They're like, yeah, it's been a really physical start. Like Kevin Huerter was saying it yesterday. You had these guys saying it today in day 2, and I just feel like that's the standard he sets. And not to say other teams don't do that, but you don't usually hear that being praised at a Kings training camp.
Well, James Ham was talking to Mike Brown today after practice, and he was asking him about his love for teaching early in camp.
Teaching aspect of camp.
For me, that's my thing. I mean, players wouldn't want to hear it, but I could practice 20 times a month and play 2 games, or 30, because the practice is fun to me, and it's fun because I enjoy seeing, the group as a whole just progress together. And when you start seeing them do more things right than not, then again that gets me excited. But the pinnacle is when they're able to basically coach themselves out on the floor. If something breaks down right away, they all know where the breakdown came from, and because they're able to correct it amongst themselves and they're talking our language, now you're able to be Phil Jackson and sit with your legs crossed.
Is it helpful to have all of these players that have worked under you before, whether it's Della Vadova or Quinn Cook or Bazemore or your guys with the Nigerian team, that they actually know what's happening and what to expect from you?
Yeah, it is helpful because there's familiarity, and we're not doing everything the same that we've done in the past, but there are some things that we're doing the same. Not only that, these guys have a feel for me as a coach and me as a person, and so they can enlighten others, as practice goes on or as the weeks go on, as to, why I did this or why I'm doing that or why I responded this way or that way. So it's always good, again, to try to have a couple of guys that are familiar with you in both regards, as a person, as a coach, to be around to help the others especially.
I love his love for even finding so much joy in seeing a player grow in front of his eyes and learn and then self-correct things. I mean, did you see the joy in his face when he was talking about that? I just love it. He's a coach.
Yeah, and teaching is an important part of the game. It's like
totally.
There's still young players on this team that you're gonna keep evolving, right? Like this is not some veteran team that, like he was saying, the Phil Jackson thing. Like it's not like playing with Steph, Clay, and Draymond, who these guys just know each other so well. They know what makes each other tick. They know what Kerr wants. It's a new situation, so it's good to have a guy who is not trying to be a dictator by any means, but trying to teach, try to empower his guys to take control on the court. You know how we like dogs on the team?
Yeah.
Mike Brown likes dogs.
Okay. Oh, he said that.
He was talking about Davion Mitchell and his defense today, just kind of what his impressions have been in the first couple of days, just getting to know Davion and seeing him.
I tell you, he's a special talent, especially on the ball defensively. He's got great feet. He's strong as the Dickens. He's got a great nose for the ball. He's not afraid, and he got some dog in him. And so you have them combinations, and on the ball, you can end up being a great on-ball defender where he has to keep working. Like any other youngster on this level, is okay, when your man doesn't have the ball, are you playing big? Are you in the right position? Is your man beating you back door? Is your man inching into you and getting in position to rebound? Are you in help position? Are you in the right help position so that you can recover to your guy on the kick out? There are a lot of little things that you have to be able to understand when you're off the ball in this league defensively, because there are just so many talented players. And like I said, not one guy can guard the ball. It's got to be 5 guys guarding the basketball. So every time that ball moves, you should move even though your man doesn't have the ball. So he'll get better in that area.
Morgan, you get a little, you know what, you make fun of me a lot, but you definitely, every time Mike Brown talks, you're like nodding, smiling, like you.
In person or right here?
No, right now.
Oh, really?
Hearing us back, you just seem like really like you're all in. Like if you were in that locker room, you're like, let's go.
I didn't even notice I was doing that because I'm like, yeah, when he's talking about defense and just, again, breaking down Davion off ball, but then when he talks about how good people have to be off ball, because it's not just about the guy guarding the ball. This is a team sport. And he had another clip talking about defense, and he was talking about how, you might not have all the best defenders out there, but if you play as a team and as one, you're going to be at, an average defensive team in this league. Like it's all about the buy-in. And it's all these things that I've said about defense for so long, about constructing this roster the right way and allowing someone like a Mike Brown to teach it and lead it in the right way. And he's doing that. And yes, so I shake my head and I smile at him every damn time I see him.
I also have, I take great joy in hearing coaches talk about the game and not just give cliche answers.
That's it.
And
when they're passionate about it.
Yeah. When guys like Michael Malone would open up a lot about strategy. Some coaches are very guarded. Like Dave Yeager was the opposite. Dave Yeager was pretty guarded in what he said, right?
Yes.
Like you were not going to get a lot out of him. He's very intentional. And some guys are just more guarded with that stuff.